You know, I told Manchin, by the way, I'll pay for the damn poll in West Virginia on those issues. See how the people of West Virginia feel.
Senator Bernie Sanders, much like any real progressive, is furious with Senator Joe Manchin and his unwillingness to vote in favor of Biden's Build Back Better agenda, the social spending package that would provide universal pre-K and all sorts of other programs that would materially improve the lives of working Americans. Now, not only is Sanders fuming about it, he's calling out Manchin for the corruption that actually fuels his decision on this matter. Something that, to be quite honest with you, I wish Senator Sanders did more of to the lead up to this moment. Now, I really appreciated some of the specifics in this interview that he had. So let's just get to it. Here's Bernie Sanders calling Manchin out on his corruption.
I've always said this, Brett, if I can't go home and explain it to the people of West Virginia, I can't vote for it. And I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no.
So there he is. There's Manchin saying, no, I'm not going to vote for it. And here is Senator Sanders responding to him.
You know, what's going on now, Jake, in Washington is the big money interests are pouring hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars to make sure that we continue to pay the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs, that the rich do not start paying their fair share of taxes. And I would have hoped that we could have had at least 50 Democrats on board who have the guts to stand up for working families and take on the lobbyists and the powerful special interests. Do you know how much money the pharmaceutical industry has spent in the last year on lobbying alone? Over $300 million, plus campaign contributions, plus all kinds of advertising. Fossil fuel industry is spending a fortune. Let's not kid ourselves. We have a corrupt political system dominated by big money interests. And finally, some of us are saying, let's stand up for working families. Average worker has not seen a pay raise in inflation accounted for dollars in 45 years, while the rich are becoming phenomenally richer. Corporate profits are at an all-time high. And what some of us are saying, maybe we'll stand up for working families for a change. But apparently we don't have the 50 votes that we need.
I'm going to go to another portion of his interview with Jake Tapper in just a moment, but I want to add some meat to the statements that Bernie Sanders made there. Because as we've talked about repeatedly on this show, not only is Manchin corrupt because of moneyed interests, he's corrupt because he's also financially benefiting from fossil fuel companies. For instance, according to his most recent financial disclosure, Manchin gained $492,000 last year alone due to his non-public shares in a coal company called Enersystems, which records show is a contractor for a power plant in the state's north that burns waste coal. Meanwhile, Manchin's 2020 income for being a senator was $174,000. So he's making more than double from this one coal company. And of course, that's going to have a huge impact on how he votes for a social spending package that includes climate action that could, of course, jeopardize his future profits. And just to give you an example of who Manchin's top contributors are, the top bribers for Joe Manchin. Take a look at this. This is from Open Secrets. These are the top industries that donate money to him. Joe Manchin is a top recipient from the following industries in the 2021 to 2022 election cycle. Coal mining, he's the top recipient. Mining, top recipient. Natural gas transmission and distribution, top recipient. Oil and gas, top recipient. Savings and loans, meaning banks, top recipient. Tobacco industry, he's the top recipient. Business associations, second recipient. For-profit education, he's in there. And of course, electric utilities, number 3.
That's out of 535 members of Congress.
Exactly, yep.
Number 1 most corrupt legislator in the country. So I just want to thank Bernie. Finally, somebody used the word corrupt.
Yes.
That's what it is. And by the way, to everybody in mainstream media, you think you're reporters, but you don't realize it. You're playing a reporter. You're not actually a reporter. if you don't talk about how Joe Manchin takes all those bribes, you're deceiving your audience. You're doing marketing for the powerful. You're in marketing, you don't realize it. You're not a journalist at all. If you're a journalist and you tell me the millions of dollars that Joe Manchin has received from those campaign contributions don't affect his vote at all, you're an utter fool. Please stop. Go do a job you can do. No journalist thinks, actual journalist thinks, oh, millions of dollars. That would never affect a human being. Your only other option is, oh, I know it affects him. I know how much it affects him, but I won't share that with my audience. Well, again, you're not a journalist. So, and part of the reason why these fake journalists keep covering up for the powerful is because you don't have other powerful people saying, hey, he's corrupt, right? If you do, they'd have to pay attention because that other person also has power, right? And all the reporters in DC care about is power. Like the entire National Press Corps could be renamed Gollum, okay? They're just chasing after pressure, power. Oh, the audience, who gives a goddamn about the audience? We're not gonna tell them the truth. They're legalized bribes. If you don't think they're bribes, you're an idiot. Go do another job. Thank you, Bernie Sanders, for calling it what it is, corruption. By the way, pretty late in the game.
Yes.
Okay, but at least somebody finally did it. And now even Barbara Lee, AOC, Ilhan Omar, all beginning to use similar language.
So, look, I think that the mistake that Bernie and other well-meaning progressives made in this process is they bought into this notion that you have to be civil in these negotiations, that you can't apply pressure or be harsh. In fact, Steve Clemons published some piece today about how incivility is what led Manchin to say that he's against the Build Back Better agenda. I mean, how naive and stupid can you possibly be to make that ridiculous argument? I mean, Biden went out of his way to do all sorts of favors for Manchin, including appointing his wife to a federal job that she wanted. Oh yeah, this is all about the lack of civility. Get out of here. But anyway, putting that aside, there's one other part of the interview that Senator Sanders had with Jake Tapper that I want to get to. Let's watch that.
Chairman Sanders, Senator Manchin says he can't get there. This is a no. He's tried everything. What's your reaction?
Well, I think he's going to have a lot of explaining to do to the people of West Virginia to tell them why he doesn't have the guts to take on the drug companies and lower the cost of prescription drugs, why he is not prepared to expand home health care. West Virginia is one of the poorest states in this country. You got elderly people and disabled people who would like to stay at home or forced into nursing homes. He's going to have to tell the people of West Virginia why he doesn't want to expand Medicare to cover dental, hearing, and eyeglasses. I've been to West Virginia a number of times, and it's a great state, beautiful people, but it is a state that is struggling. And he's going to have to tell the people of West Virginia why he's rejecting what the scientists of the world are telling us, that we have to act boldly and transform our energy system to protect future generations from the devastation of climate change.
I think that's a powerful message, and I just wish that message was taken to the state of West Virginia and that Manchin was politically beaten over the head with that, because fact of the matter is, as we know from polling, the Build Back Better agenda is incredibly popular, even among West Virginians. And one other thing I wanted to mention is that the Huffington Post reported that people familiar with the negotiations involving Joe Manchin on this very issue claimed that he was against the child tax credit because he believes that poor parents are going to use it on drugs. That's the kind of thinking that Joe Manchin is using to push back against something that would lift a giant percentage of children out of poverty in this country.
Yeah, let's be more specific. 30% of kids were lifted out of poverty because of the child tax credit. So now we know that as a fact because it existed, right? So now 30% are going to go back into poverty because Manchin thinks that their families are losers who just use drugs and want the government money for that. Now, why does Joe Manchin think that? Because it's projection. He's a terrible person who is incredibly greedy and only cares about money. And so he assumes so do poor people, and so do middle class people. He doesn't understand that they're infinitely more decent than he is. He got to where he is because of how indecent he is. He told donors, I'll do anything for you guys. I have no morals at all. You want me to crush the working man in West Virginia? Done. Okay, so he assumes you're as much of a bad guy as he is. Oh, well, if we give him money, they just use it for their own good and for drugs and stuff, right? No, Joe, that's you. That's you and your family, by the way. Oh, there's no way we can go after Joe Manchin. Golly gee, we have no choice. There's nothing we can do. No, the only thing politicians care about is their beloved reputation. Well, it is my reputation. I do, right? All right, well, your daughter took $30 million and outsourced jobs and a golden parachute and outsourced thousands of jobs in West Virginia. Your whole family is corrupt. That's a fact.
Yeah.
Your son runs your coal company. TYT investigations showed you made $5 million in the last 10 years from your coal company. You took millions from those coal companies and the oil companies, etc. Those are facts, but everybody in Washington wants to cover it up. I actually like Steve Clements. He used to be on the show all the time, but he couldn't be more wrong about this. His point of view is, look, even if it were true, which is preposterous and has nothing to do with the truth, but even if it were true, imagine that Clements is right and Manchin said, oh, well, people were not civil enough. That's why I'm voting no. So wait,
I'm voting
in that fact pattern, because your feelings were hurt, you denied the people of West Virginia benefits that would have greatly helped them because of your effing feelings? And people in Washington think, oh yeah, of course. No, the feelings of the elite are so much more important than the voters. They genuinely believe that in their bones. Okay, so real quick, because I did it earlier in the show, to back up Bernie on the polling, he doesn't need to pay for a new poll, okay? I looked it up, I said 90%, let me correct it. Lowering drug prices by having Medicare negotiate polls at 83% in West Virginia. And by the way, it polls highest in West Virginia out of the swing states. The other swing states where there's senators that might vote no. So West Virginia is not even a swing state, it's deeply red. Why does it poll the best in West Virginia? You know why? Because it's a populous state. And they need lower drug prices because they're poor. On average, they're poorer than the average American. So of course they want lower drug prices. Only a moron would think they don't want that. And everyone in DC is either a moron or pretending to be a moron. Oh, what do people in West Virginia want? I wish there was a poll. There is a poll. Paid family leave, 70%. Expanding child tax credits, 61%. Universal pre-K, 59%. I read you all the other stats before. This bill is incredibly popular in West Virginia. The only difference between what you hear from us and what you hear from mainstream media is we actually cite facts that you can look up and verify. The mainstream media is filled wall to wall with liars who lie on behalf of the powerful. Every one of them is pretending it's not popular in West Virginia to cover his corrupt ass. That is the reality of American politics. Thank you, Bernie, for finally fighting back.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.